So today we'll be taking a look at AJ Lee's return to pro wrestling, Sonya Deville, and a theory going around about Alexa Bliss and Finn Balor. Let's start things off with a headline that some people thought we'll never see again. But AJ Lee is back in the pro wrestling industry. Co-owners of the Los Angeles Lakers, Jeannie Buss, has just announced the relaunch of WOW, Women of Wrestling. The reason why this relaunch made some massive headlines is because the staff that Jeannie and the crew announced at the press conference. WOW's biggest reveal of the night was the signing of AJ Mendez, formerly known as AJ Lee, in WWE. It was the first time AJ has been signed to a wrestling organization in well over 6 years. Wrestling was AJ's passion from such a young age, but after retiring from WWE, she mostly focused on her writing, and wrestling sort of faded into the background for her. But the wrestling universe finally has AJ back. AJ appeared and spoke at the press conference about how much everything meant to her. She also had this to say on Twitter: "Kept you waiting, huh? So proud to join the WOW family as an executive producer alongside the great Jeannie Buss. You'll see me on camera too as a color commentator." So that tweet right there explains everything AJ will be doing in the company. She will be an executive producer and will even appear on screen as a color commentator. AJ may not be an in-ring talent anymore, but this was still a blockbuster signing and a great addition, especially for a relaunch of an organization. AJ has the wrestling experience. She has climbed to the top of the industry all the way from the bottom, not to mention that she has a very creative mind as well. So you put her in this executive producer role, and this product can really benefit from her ideas. Not only will she be behind the scenes, she'll also be on camera as well as a commentator. So fans of AJ will definitely tune in to see that as well. So yeah, it's not a WWE return, it's not an in-ring return, but it still counts as AJ's big return to the wrestling scene. For a while, it felt like the wrestling industry was monopolized by one company, but now we're seeing more and more promotions make some big moves, signing some big names, and it just makes everything more interesting for the viewers, and it also provides more options for the talent. There's more places to be noticed at and find success at, so that'll never be a bad thing at all. So the AJ signing was huge, and everyone can't wait to see her input on the show. The Sonya Deville and Naomi storylines is continuing to unfold in WWE. We haven't really seen a face-to-face interaction between Sonya and Naomi in a few weeks, but there's been some continuation sprinkled in throughout the shows. For example, the WWE draft. Sonya Deville was the one to announce Naomi's draft pick to SmackDown, but before she announced it, she broke out of that professionalism and said things like, "I didn't make this pick, this wasn't me," and rolled her eyes after announcing Naomi to SmackDown. So obviously that moment was meant to keep that story going there. Sonya didn't want to draft Naomi to SmackDown and was visually frustrated when she found out that Naomi was coming back to SmackDown. We also had another continuation in the middle of the week on WWE's The Bump. Sonya had this to say when asked about Naomi: "I told you earlier how I like my talent. I like that burning fire, that passion, that I don't want to be here, I don't want to be here. When I see Naomi, she has an amazing entrance. Her shoes glow in the dark, it's all great. But beyond that, when I'm looking in her eyes here, I was a fighter for 6 years. When I'm looking in her eyes, I don't see it." So that's Sonya's main problem with Naomi. She likes her look and all the visuals, but she doesn't think Naomi has that competitive fire anymore. Naomi responded on Twitter by saying, "I never asked for a shot at the top, just a match to prove myself, even if it is 2 minutes. Just make that match, so I can give you that fire and passion you claim I don't have." So Naomi is saying that she's not asking for a title match. She's more than willing to start from the bottom again. She's just asking for an opportunity, even just a 2-minute match, so that she can put something on tape and let them see what she's capable of doing. Obviously, it seems like the story will lead to Sonya Deville's return to the ring, but how exactly will it play out? Will Naomi vs. Sonya be the first match for Naomi? Or will Sonya sort of be like the final boss here, and Naomi will only face her after Naomi was successful in a handful of other matches? So that's a great question to ask as well. Tons of ways you can take this in. Sonya hasn't competed in well over a year, so it definitely should be treated like a big deal and have a nice build up to it. So hopefully that story keeps going down an intriguing route. So let's take a look at this theory for Alexa Bliss and Finn Balor. Credit for this idea goes to Philippa Marie of Sportskeeda. Philippa wrote about the possibility of Alexa and the Demon linking up on Raw, and it was a very intriguing idea. Obviously, there's a lot of history all around these characters. Alexa Bliss had Finn Balor on a moment of bliss a few years back, and Alexa seemed to be taking a liking to Finn. But the moment was interrupted and never really touched on again. Few months after that, Finn Balor found himself in the ring as the first victim to Bray Wyatt's latest creation, the Fiend. Remember that Finn had originally unleashed the Demon on Bray Wyatt, so this was a bit of a revenge for Bray to unleash the Fiend back on Finn. So they had a lot of back and forth history there. The Fiend basically ends Finn Balor's main roster run, and Finn returns to NXT with a whole new persona and turns heel during the process as well. A lot of fans speculated that what changed Finn's persona was that Fiend effect, that Fiend influence. Everyone who ever faced the Fiend went through a personality change of some sorts. Finn, Seth, Alexa, Braun, and the list goes on. That also is what Finn and Alexa have in common. They were both immensely affected by the effect. Finn turned heel, and Alexa Bliss probably went through one of the biggest changes out of all the Fiend's victims. She served as the Fiend's sidekick before kicking him to the side and continuing on her own, but still with that Fiend influence personality. But it's been hinted at a few times that Alexa misses the Fiend, and now with Lilly being gone as well, it makes you wonder, does Alexa have a desire for a Fiend or someone that's sort of in her same field of character, someone to take that spot of Lilly and the Fiend? And that's where Finn Balor comes in. More specifically, the Demon comes into play. With the Fiend being gone, the Demon is basically the biggest supernatural character left in the men's division. So, is that something Alexa's character would gravitate to? Especially with Finn now being on Raw, does she see some things from the Demon that reminds her of the Fiend? Although that theory and idea of the Demon and Alexa linking up could be exciting, the execution of the alliance from a WWE creative point of view may be mishandled and underwhelming. It's one of those things where you think to yourself, well, they couldn't get it right the first time. What makes you think they'll get it right the second time? WWE had what very well could have been their version of Joker and Harley with Bray and Alexa. So much potential there for that duo, but it fell apart so fast. The pairing of Alexa and Bray, and even the ending of their relationship, was just so underwhelming and lacked so much logic. So if they couldn't get that right, it's really hard to picture a world where the pairing of Alexa and Finn would be even more successful than Bray and Alexa. But it's still a fun idea, and if they know ahead of time where they want to take that story, it could work. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.